Hello and welcome. I'm Steve and you're watching Tabletop Titans. Today we're going to unbox and have a look at the Warhammer Underworlds Gnarlwood Grinkrak's Looncourt. This is a noble knightly squad of goblin knights that are just absolutely amazing and hilarious models. I remember watching the preview show these were featured in, and they kind of stole the show for me. So yeah, I knew I had to pick them up. Plus I pick up every Warband for Underworlds, so this includes 7 easy to build Citadel miniatures. So they are push fit. I personally glue all mine, and I usually cut off the little pegs that you push into holes for the push fit aspect of it, just because sometimes if you try and glue them and keep them as they are, it can cause things to not go together properly. There might be like just a little too much of a crack left, gap. So yeah, I find that's been working best. Let's see. Grinkrak's Looncourt Quest into the Darkness Beneath the Gnarlwood. Expand your Warhammer Underworlds experience with Grinkrak's Looncourt and their ready-to-play Rivals deck. This warband can be used with Universal Rivals decks, sold separately, and the Grinkrak's Looncourt Rivals deck cards, that's a mouthful, can be combined with Universal cards to build your own deck. I love the new Rivals format that they've got going on, and the Nemesis format as well. I like the simplicity of just being able to grab a warband, grab a Rivals deck, and bam, you're going. And if you want to do a little bit of deck building, Nemesis offers that in a limited capacity, where you have your warband and their faction cards, and you have a sort of neutral Rivals deck, and you just sort of build a deck out of those two, picking what you want. It's especially great for the older warbands from like Shadespire to Dire Chasm, I guess. Maybe Dire Chasm. Actually, no, Dire Chasm I think might have had enough faction-specific cards to make a Rivals deck from them. But the older ones, they didn't have enough faction cards. Even with the sort of bonus card packs you could get, they are still short. So, and I also love what they're doing, where every deck you get in the boxes now are a Rivals deck. So with the Gnarlwood base set, they gave you the Rivals decks for the 2 warbands in there, and then they also had 2 more Rivals decks in there. And if you wanted to play like the championship format or whatever, where you like just use any card and you make a deck out of that, you can. But I like this, makes the Universal cards feel less like a waste to me, because I wasn't doing any major deck building. Anyway, let's get this open. Snap it out. We got instructions. These are always pretty simple. And some of these they're just like one piece of plastic plus a base, so just doing cleanup on them. It's all pretty simple. Sometimes these Underworlds kits can go together kind of in a creative ways, so we'll see how it is once I'm actually building them. But let's see. Here we have first brew. I'll do it like this. And yep, got some great looking bits of miniatures here. You got the shield for the squigapult or whatever. Here you have the part of the squig on a stick. Here you got the mushroom trumpeter. Here's just one of the sort of like the chump knights. Here's the lance. Looks like it's been driven through a bit of log. Oh, there's the squig on a stick's face. And lots of mushrooms. It's a bit of a Gloomspite theme, the mushrooms. Oh, here, the little guy. I think he's the one pulling back the squigapult. And this is just like a random foot there. Oh, oops. Okay. Looking at the other one. Yeah. That must be with the squig that the guy's riding. The guy with the lance. Lots of backs. I like the armored Gloomspite Gits look, where they've got like these like sort of like crescent armor pieces to make them look like the Bad Moon, and like the visors for their helms are like the crooked nose and everything from the Bad Moon. It's a really cool aesthetic. And here's another guy where it's just like the shape of his head just armored. That's the knight on squig. And here we got the back of Grinkrak himself with his I guess it'd be like a pole arm, two crescent blades. And I think this is his face. It's really sort of wicked looking. Floppy hat with the mushrooms. Oh, and here's the guy that's on the bottom of the Git's totem pole when it comes to the squigapult. Yeah, really nice detail on these. We'll take a quick look at the cards. I won't read them all out or anything like that, but just to give you a sneak peek. You can find all the cards online. I think they're on GW's. Let's see. Like I said back here. View this set's cards and discover more at warhammerunderworlds.com. Plus there's like an Underworlds database or something that will have the cards all listed on there as well. So that one's a community run website. I have the wrong name, but if you look for that, then you should be able to find it, no problem. Okay, so Grinkrak's Looncourt. Let's bring you down. Grinkrak the Great leads his Looncourt into the darkness under the Gnarlwood. His Loon Knights are a unique breed of grot, thanks to a combination of Grinkrak's rhetoric and some judiciously applied psychoactive fungi. These plucky warriors believe themselves to be formidable fighters. Grinkrak encourages them in this delusion, sending them on quests that miraculously they sometimes survive. Snorbo abets him in this by sounding the charge on his war trumpet, sending Pokin, Snark, and Grib, the wonky lance, bounding and charging towards their foes. Squiggly beast missiles sail overhead as they clash with their enemies. Launched by Skolko and Pronk. while Pointy Burke and Moonface Nags bring up the rear, eager for drugs of glory. Wow. So yeah, that's absolutely bananas sounding. And here's a list of all the cards that come here. It's going to be handy. Make sure to keep this card. And so, first we got the fighter cards. So, standard for Underworlds, you got like the normal side and then the inspired side. The inspired condition for this is you score this fighter's quest objective. So, we'll probably find out more about that as we look at the cards. He's nothing special, this guy. He's one of the chumps. His weapon is a sticka. At 1 range, 2 swords, 1 damage. When he inspires, that goes up to 2 damage. And he also gains a dodge. Next we got Grib the Wonky Lance. I think we can all figure out which one he is. He's the one with the lance. He's 4 movement, 1 defense, 1 shield, and 3 wounds. He's got the Wonky Lance, which is range 2, 2 swords, 2 damage, knockback 1, and a Squighorn, which is range 1, 2 hammers, 2 damage, and impact. And here we see impact is +1 damage when made during a charge action. So that's pretty neat. And when he inspires, he goes up to 5 movement and 2 dodge. And looks like both the Wonky Lance and the Squighorn gain 1 attack dice of the respective type. He seems like a strong one. Grinkrak the Great. This is the leader. He's 3 movement, 2 shields, 3 wounds. And he has a moon slice, so that's his pole arm. It's only range 1, I thought it'd be 2. 2 hammers, 2 damage. He inspires when 3 or more other surviving friendly fighters are inspired. So a little more difficult to get him inspired because you gotta work for that one. And he has the ability Dub. Reaction. Use this after you score a non-quest objective. Choose 1 other surviving friendly fighter. Inspire the chosen fighter. So, does this mean it has to be him that scores the quest? Or, no, this is... I'm not sure. And Grinkrak inspired. Let's see. He gets 1 more hammer on his moon slicer. That seems to be it. Moonface Nags, he's another one of the chumps with the Stabba. And when he inspires, he gets his 1 shield turns into 2 dodge, and his Stabba gains 1 sword, going from 2 to 3. Skulko and Pronk are the Squiggle launcher. I love this art. He's like pulling it towards him face first. I think it's a little different than the miniature. Something with this is just really funny. And that's another thing with like Gnarlwood. The art on the cards has like improved so much compared to like Nethermaze and Harrowdeep, which had kind of bad card art in my opinion. So these guys are 2 movement, 1 shield, 3 wounds. The Squigapult does 3 range, 2 swords, 2 damage, steady, and on crit Nashin. So steady is this fighter can only make this attack action once per phase, +1 range if this fighter has no move and or charge tokens. Okay, it's alright. And then Nashin, break 1 of the target's upgrades. Oh, that's kind of cool. Oh, that could be a real pain in the ass for your opponent. Then Inspired goes up to 2 shields and 3 swords for the attack. Otherwise, everything's the same. Poke and Snark. He has the Squig on a Stick, or the Squig Spear. It's 1 range, 2 swords, 2 damage, and it's also crit Nation, so he breaks the target's upgrade when he crits. And Inspired, he gets 1 more movement and 1 more sword on his attack. And finally, last but not least, we have Snorbo the Spore. He's the Fungus Trumpeter, the Shroom Tutor. Is 3 range, like 3 movement, 1 shield, 2 wounds, and his Spore Trumpet is 3 range, 3 swords, 1 damage, and stagger. That's pretty good. That's a lot of dice for his base attack. And Inspired, the only difference is the Spore Trumpet, in addition to stagger, gains cleave. Which, that's cool. Makes it even more accurate. So yeah, that's the fighters. And we'll quickly go through the objectives. So we'll look at this one first, because it explains some stuff about what the Warband's about. Arm yourself. So this is a duel and a quest. So these are what you want for inspiring. You can give this to a friendly fighter that has no tokens or quests in the power step in place of playing a card. So this kind of objective is a little different. You actually give it to the model. You don't just score it and reveal it when you manage to score it. Do not draw a replacement if you put it down like that. So that's important. If this fighter is taken out of action, add this card to your hand, even if you have 3 or more objective cards. Score this in an end phase if this fighter has 2 or more upgrades and this fighter is in enemy territory. So that's that would be that character's quest. Get 2 upgrades and be in the enemy's territory. And you get 1 glory and you inspire them for it. So that gives us an idea of what the quests are like. So we'll just quickly go through. You can pause, I guess, if you want, but you can just find them online anyways. Looncourt Conquest, Looncourt Infestation, Looncourt Scragum, Meanest of them all, Mob 'em. Nah. Very mature. Pick on a get your own size. Question gets. Run 'em down. Small glories. That's ours, that is. That's the last one. And then we'll look at ploys. Bold pylon. Enthusiastic dubbing. Giddish celerity. Giddish ferocity. Giddish resilience. Healing spores. Would you just love that guy tooting in your face? Pocket swig. Everyone's got to use a pocket swig. I mean, it's like the Underworld's version of pocket sand, I guess. It's such a cute little squig there. It's like a squig tribble. Sound the charge. Stab, and stab again. And stick the boot in. Oh, that's give me some American history vibes right there. American History X, sorry. And then the upgrades, we got a despicable cad, a downtrodden squire, extra pointy boots, fortifying fungus. He looks, yeah, sure, fortified. Cunning advance, cunning knight, leg biter, magnificent bounder. Yes, yes, he is. Quest's End, and Wicked Slitter. I love the whole Gits theme of crazy fungus hallucinations and just this like base viciousness and cruelty. And then wrapped up in this questing knight facade is just, that's some good stuff. Yeah. Anyways, that was unboxing and look at Grinkrak's Looncourt. I'll be right back once they're built to show you how that went. Okay. And we're back. And as you can see, I've put together the Looncourt. I'll be honest, these went together pretty easily. They're definitely one of the more straightforward Underworlds kits that I've seen in a while. Yeah, no real problems. There's going to be some gaps I need to fill, like around this guy's tail. This is the knight on the squig. I don't have their names nearby, sorry. Error on my part. They're very characterful. They look like they're going to be a lot of fun to paint. And hopefully I'll actually get around to doing it. But yeah, especially on this guy, there's going to be some gaps that need filling on the squig. But there's not a lot to say about it. They just, yeah, went to bed really easily. Went together. Wow, went to bed? What am I talking about? Went together really easily. It's interesting, like, they do all the Underworlds gangs in colored plastics, and it's interesting that these are green, considering the Zarbag's Gits, which were the first and only other Gloomspite Warband that's come out, not counting the Wolf Riders don't count, because they're not really Gloomspite. But they were yellow, and these are green. And usually they sort of stick to the colors that they've gone with, like all the Khorne ones are red, all the Stormcastle ones are blue, that kind of thing. And green has been the orc color. So yeah, that was interesting. About these models, so you might see here, there's lots of little like mushrooms and stuff, and you see where it's like extra, like really sort of white there. You got to be really careful because that's the plastics like stressing, and if you're not careful, it'll snap. That's a warning sign. It's got it like around the ears from what I was probably trying to push on the head, and this guy, you gotta watch out for these little mushrooms here. And it's just a theme on these. This guy, his suit of armor is just awesome. Just, I love it. He's just the walking bad moon man. Like, it's perfect. But anyways, yeah, about the colored plastic. Maybe it's just me, but I find the different colored plastics are different to work with. Like the yellow ones of the original Zarbags, I found that really difficult to work with. Like it was like sort of, I don't know, harder, or couldn't be like cleaned up as well. Whereas the green is a lot more forgiving. So, am I the only one that's thought that? Have any of you like found like certain colored plastics you just hate working with? Anyways, yeah. So this guy was just like one piece. Same with this guy, just the one piece. These are a delightful little gang of goblins. So that's that. What do you think about them? Do you have Czar bags? Do you think these look better, or do you like Czar bags more? Or do you just not like Gits in general, or are they your favorite? Or what'd you have for breakfast? You know, anything. Anyways, yeah. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you next time.